Porter. I'm head coach over at the Ace Boxing Club at 2160 South 10th Street. We're in Kosciuszko Park, and we're the only building in this park that looks at 10th Street, between Lincoln and Beecher. I've been working with these kids since 1960. That's 42 years I've been working with them. I've never charged the kids a penny. It's hard to tell a kid he can't come into your gym because he ain't got no money. And you're trying to keep them off the streets and out of the gangs and out of their law-breaking ways. A lot of people think that I'm a little goofy doing this for 42 years and no compensation money-wise. But it's I don't think anybody understands the thrill that you get looking at a young kid getting his arm raised in victory and knowing how hard he had to work to get there. It's kind of disturbing that I read about so many programs. Well, no, Milwaukee's only got about 3 or 4 boxing programs, but they're all funded. They all got money, and I'm wondering how many of these people would be coaches working with these kids if they weren't getting paid for it. Oh, Luke is a whole story all by himself. I'm so proud of that kid. Right now, he's probably the most sought-after boxer in the state here. Luke came to me 2 years ago and had a very, very bad background. I guess when he was in his teens, he got convicted of a homicide in a drug deal. And he's supposed to have gotten life. He sat, I think it was at Wales for 3-4 years. And then somebody reopened up the case. And I don't know how it happened, but he got put over on parole, probably because of his age. I don't really know. But he came into the boxing club here, and he's with the club here. His whole life has changed around. He's got 8 amateur fights. He has scored 7 knockouts, 4 of them in the first round. He's a lefty, he's a southpaw. But he has a lot of potential, and his whole life has changed around. He's a dedicated boxer now. He just wants to become something, make something of himself. And he said he's so glad he found this program here because it's just what he was looking for. He's another one without this program probably would end up at Waupun. It kind of disturbs me when you ask some of the, well, I'll say politicians, some of the people in the city here for some help in running this program. A lot of taps on the shoulders. My back's getting sore. Good job there. Mayor Norcus one time told me, I drove a city bus for 23 years. And he was on my bus, and I was telling him about the program, but he recognized me through probably the newspaper clippings. And I asked him if there was any possible way I could get some help from the city. Oh no, there's so many requests out there. Right now we couldn't do this. But I just wish we had more people like you in the community. Everybody praises you up, and the program is so good. But when you're asking for a little financial help, they're gone. And it disturbs me that the city, county, and state don't want to come up with anything to keep this program going. Yet they'll send these same kids to a prison, when my understanding costs $25,000, $35,000 a year to keep that kid in there. We're not asking for nowhere near that kind of money, but yet they can fork that kind. They have money for those kind of things, but they don't seem to have money to help keep these kids out of those places. Well, I was kind of raised in a boxing family. My father was a professional boxer from 1923 to 33. He was 4 years welterweight champion in Canada. He had about I believe it was, I had the article, I got it at home. I think he had 168 professional fights. He lost about 19 of them. In those days, they didn't have that kind of money to travel, and they used to get from town to town and fight to fight by riding the boxcar. And I remember this one article I read, he had a friend that used to travel with him that boxed also. His name was Chief Webster. But we had 9 kids in the family, and my mother, there was my father boxed, I boxed, I got a brother that boxed, and she never has been to a live boxing show, and her and my dad had a kind of a thing together. My dad, of course, wanted his sons to learn the sport but not to get involved. My mother didn't even want us to do that. So they had a thing together that his first son that they had, he could be a boxer. He could train to be a boxer. And so that, luckily, kind of, that was me. And I remember them telling me that when I was able to walk, my first step was throwing the left foot forward and stepping in with the jab. And so from baby on, my father worked and trained me. I treat them the same way as if I do the guys. I start them all the same way. I work them the same way. I don't say, well, you can't do this, you're a female. And I tell them they got to train just as hard in the same way the guys do. If you want to be good, you want to win, you have to train. It's not something that they're going to hand you. But it's hard for women to get fights because there's not that many around. Like I say, a lot of gyms don't like them coming into their gyms. So I had one girl. She's been with me for 4 years. I'll bet you she has showed up for 30 or 40 bouts to try to get some competition, and she's ended up in all these years. She's had 5 fights. You know, to me, that's kind of discouraging. You know, to me, it proves to me that you don't. Well, everybody likes to get rich and have money, but I guess it doesn't take all that to make your life successful or happy. I guess sometimes making someone else happy makes you happy. Some of the looks on their faces when their hand is raised, I'm sure that they realize themselves that if not for the boxing program, they don't know where they'd be. You know, who knows?
Uncovering our naked souls. All start singing, shouting, screaming.
The master